Hey guys, welcome back to Phil Plays TCG. Today we are going over the updated tier list for Set 4 of the Dragonball Super Fusion World card game. And I think we're going to be changing a lot on this chart here. This is the tier list that I had set up with both Cody and Jamaid about a month ago. And since then there have been quite a few events that we have started to see the meta overall take shape. And I feel like I got a lot right, but I did unfortunately get a lot wrong. So we are going to go over, I don't know if I got a lot wrong, but I got enough wrong that I want to go over this once again. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below as we start this video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button as we are on our way to 2,500 subs, and we're getting there little bit by little bit each and every day, and I really do appreciate any and all support you guys are willing to give. Thank you so much for everything this year. You guys are awesome. YouTube stuff out of the way. Let's talk about this. Right off the bat, I do want to make a correction. So in the original video, if you had checked it out, Cody and Jamaid, I kind of listened to a lot of their discussion, but basically I'm on the wrong screen here. There we go. Basically, we spent like over 10 minutes just talking about Baby alone, where he fell on the chart. Jamaid wanted to put him into like the C tier or Rogue, or low B tier. Cody put him up in A tier. And I said we would revisit this leader later on in the video. I unfortunately forgot to revisit this leader, and probably one of my big things is I do think it had a lot of good things going for it. My first correction here is throwing Baby into A tier. I do think that Baby Vegeta is a very, very good deck because of its just amazing ability to, keep great hand size, be aggressive. It's incredibly it's incredible with resources. You have things like Blue can do with, like, it recycles cards, it controls the board very well, it plays very strong bodies for cheap, and it breaks a fundamental rule of the game where you can't use cards in a combo that are in rest mode, but because it can, any deck I think that breaks the rules, in a card game just automatically is a great deck. The leader has put up results. It won nationals, even though it was found out later that the player, I'm not going to say his name, misplayed, which got him the win. But the deck is really, really good. It is certainly up there as one of the best decks in the format. I'm not going to say the best deck, but it's absolutely one of the best decks. And we're going to kind of go over other leaders here. Androids, it deserves to be an A tier. The deck is stupidly good. Ramp Droids is absolutely busted. It's one of the worst cards in the game, being overpowered. The fact that it can be played essentially for one, you can play them back to back and ramp 2 energy. So charge 2 more energy during your turn on top of the energy you already put down. It's gross. The best green deck in the format, that's not going to change. Jiren, I think Jiren is really, really good. It's very powerful, but I feel like a lot of colors have outs for it. Blue has a lot of outs for it. Red has decent outs. Green has, a good card for it. Yellow, not so much. I still think Jiren deserves to be in A tier, but probably lower on the list. But still very, very good. We're going to kind of go through this fairly quickly because I don't want to say too much is changing. Red Goku, I am going to put him down into B tier. I think he's got a lot of good things going for him. The problem is we're not seeing the results. He hasn't been in like the top 16 of any of the events in the last month. I think it's a good deck, don't get me wrong, but the problem is you have to play him a very particular play style. Aggressively, he is amazing. He puts so much pressure on your opponent. Defensively, though, once he's awakened, it becomes very, very hard. You have one great protection. One great protection against all big swing, but that's usually about it. If your opponent can wipe away your board, then this leader is not going to be as scary defensively. I still think it is a good deck. It's just not as good as we thought it was going to be. I still think I think in Nationals, there were people playing it who got into like the top 32, but nothing in the top 16. So I think Goku probably is going to go down a peg. Same thing with GT Goku. I think GT Goku is really good, but we aren't seeing the results that we thought. If people are playing black, it's typically Baby Vegeta, but I still think the deck is really, really good. It's just maybe not as good as we were thinking it was going to be. Next up, Blue Vegeta. It feels weird to say this, but Blue Vegeta hasn't been putting in results really either, which is crazy because I do think it is the best generic blue leader. The problem is, I feel like a lot of people know how to play against Vegeta. I think Vegeta does take a little more brain power than a lot of blue players are looking to do or are looking to put in. Or it could just be fatigue. A lot of people aren't wanting to play with Vegeta again. He's been around since set 1. I still think he is very, very good, so he does deserve to be in top tier, but probably not as good as he used to be. Daima Goku, weird enough, like, I think he and Vegeta can kind of like swap places here. There's an argument for either one, but Daima Goku is a very, very good leader. It deserves to be in the top tier, but it's not putting in the results that I thought it would. Dane got placed in the top 8 with it, but that's really it. Like, the deck is really, really good. The problem is, a lot of people, the deck relies on the 6-drop Secret Rare, and a lot of people don't have that card or not wanting to pay the money to get those cards. So maybe that might be why people aren't playing it as much in real events. But I think the deck is amazing. It's very, very good. I don't understand why it's not getting the results that it should be getting, but I do still believe it deserves to be in the top tier. Now for decks that I think, well, let's just keep going down the list here. Vegeta, I think Vegeta is very, very good, but not as good as I was thinking it was going to be. I think, I want to say, once again, there's been no results for this deck. It really seemingly hasn't been doing anything. I think it's a good leader. I think the deck is very interesting, but if people are going to play green, people are just going to play droids. So I think that it could use a little more support in the future, but overall, I think the deck is really cool. Majin Buu, I think Majin Buu deserves to be in top tier. He is doing very, very well in the meta right now, being a very aggressive deck. If you can play this deck right, it can absolutely steamroll your opponent. Being able to free play cards like Majin Buu into Babidi into Majin Buu, you're being able to swing multiple times with your leader. Yellow's got some really cool cards to work with, being able to keep your opponent's board tapped down or control the board in their own way. And the deck has been putting results as high as like 2nd place for big events. I think the leader is very, very good. Probably, I keep going on the wrong screen here. Probably better than Jiren, and honestly, I probably put him a little higher than Vegeta and Jiren right now. Zamasu, this is gonna sound weird, but I think Zamasu deserves a place up in the top tier as well. This deck, like, it's finally found its niche. It's finally fixed the problems that the deck had, which was it doesn't draw. It once it awakens, its draw power is entirely linked to using its ability, and that was its detriment. Now, with the new 3-drop Gotenks that we have, this deck it fixed that problem. And if you can play the slow game and play properly, play smart, this deck can do very, very well. Hell, this deck just won a recent event, and it's amazing. I think this deck is super cool. It is the slow game. You are going to be playing the slow game, but once you've got all of your ducks in a row, this deck is fantastic. I want to put it a little up here for you. Bardock is still a good deck. It just really didn't get any new support. The deck is it's still good. And that's pretty much it. Same thing with Beerus. Beerus, I think, is very, very dangerous. Red is just a great color right now in this set, so I think that Beerus stays where he was at, maybe a little higher up in the tier list. Next up, Goku Black. Same thing. He's the top of Rogue tier. If he can get his stuff going, he can really pop off. For sure. Cell, same thing. If he can get his cards rolling, he's going to do really well. But for the most part, I think he's just great into the C tier category. Next up, we have Trunks. I'm putting Trunks up in B tier because I think this leader is highly underrated. And the stuff that we are now capable of doing in this set because of the new cards introduced in set 4 with Vegeta Daima and some of the other cards that help reduce cost, this leader is in a prime position. Once again, you are playing the slow game. It takes a lot of good thought and a lot of good plays, but this deck really can pop off. I'm gonna put it a little. I'm gonna put it over here. Maybe it's a little higher than some of these other leaders, but I think Trunks is actually pretty damn good right now. Deadku, man. Deadku popping off lately. Holy crap. This is what we wanted to see in set 3. But set 4 has introduced so many amazing cards for this archetype that it really is seeing a lot of play. And I think a big reason for that is because when people saw that Baby Vegeta was kind of like the deck to play, because not only is it cheap to build, once you learn the play lines, it's a very powerful deck, but it doesn't have a whole lot of removal. So what is Deadku's worst matchup? Is any deck with good removal. So people started playing Deadku, I think personally, to combat Baby Vegeta, and with the new cards it's gotten, it's become way more consistent, it's become way more energy efficient, and it's become more aggressive. People finally are starting to know how to play this deck properly. You can go the aggressive route with the Great Saiyaman package, using the high school way more often to play cards off the top of your deck for free, than getting the high school back with like a Pilaf or a Videl, and just kind of continuing that cycle. The defense built into the leader, I think this leader is very, very good. But I do think, I'm going to put a little under Zamasu, maybe above it, yeah. I don't know, Vegeta and him are on the same category, I think. I think a lot of it just comes down to the deck does have problems against very aggressive decks and decks that can clear a board easily. That's why I think into red, it's not a good matchup, and into green, which I think does the slow play and the long game better, I still think it is a problem, but overall Deadku is in a much better spot now. The deck's just really good. I wish it had a better boss monster, but Vegito is not bad for this deck. I wish it had just had a specific Satan City boss monster. Let's see, Yellow Vegeta. I think Yellow Vegeta's fine. Honestly, Frieza's fine. Boo's fine. I think the rest of this tier is pretty fine. Like, these are all competent enough. Going into locals here, yeah, Topku is probably still where he needs to be. U7, Goku. I think U7 might be a little better than Topku, just because there's way more just generic U7 stuff than there is Tournament of Power. Starter Ku, yeah, I mean, it's still good. It's still good. Green Gohan. Yeah, I mean, it's green. Like, green just... Unless you're playing androids, it's just not amazing. Which makes me kind of feel like maybe Green Vegeta needs to go farther down the list. But, like, I feel like once it pops off is the thing. No, I think it's fine. Green Gohan is fine. Blue Gohan, a lot of people didn't like that I put this leader so low. And don't get me wrong, I like this leader a lot. Hell, I have the alt art version of it right here. I'm still trying, working with the deck. I just think that the problem with this deck is that it doesn't have enough support. Milling is such a bad strategy in my opinion, because you have super combos in your deck, which are not, you can't recycle those. And if you mill your super combos, you're just putting yourself in a worse position. I do think it's better than Green Gohan, but I don't know. There are some really good blue cards. Really good blue cards. But the problem is milling, like, if you can't get cards back from your discard pile when you mill them, then you're just hurting yourself. And when your opponent sees that you have like 2 or 3 super combos that have been milled in your discard pile, they're just like, oh, this guy's got no defense. Cool. They can start feeling way more, they feel way more aggressive, and they don't have to worry about you blocking with a super combo. So I love Gohan's ability, but God, milling without the ability to recycle super combos is really bad. The problem is, if you have the way to recycle your super combos, then, like, I understand it's broken. And so I don't want that. I don't want your super combos to be recyclable, but Jesus, I kind of wish that his abilities didn't force his super combos, you know, like maybe your way your super combos go back to the bottom of your deck if they get milled, but that's just my weird fantasy, I guess. I really want this leader to be good. And I feel like in some matchups it is, but a lot of it does come down to RNG. But Blue's in a really good spot right now, too. I'm just going to throw Gohan in Rogue in C tier. I think he is... In certain matchups, he's really good. If RNG works well, then he can pop off. But for now, I think that's as high as I can put him as the bottom of Rogue. Broly, same thing. Like, Broly, he got one extra card that helps him, but he really isn't doing much. So I think he deserves to be in the spot he is now. Now, finally, we have the needs help category. And funny enough, I'm putting Cooler and I'm putting him above... I'm putting him into locals tier. Just playable in locals. Surprisingly, he has gotten some decent stuff in set 8 with the... so not set 8, set 4 with the Metacooler Core or Cooler Core or whatever it is called, where you have some more... You have some more interaction with your leader ability, and it can do things. Are those things good? In certain situations, yes, but not always. So I think he's at least now playable, but he's still not good. And then finally, Piccolo and Vegeta. Piccolo is scary late game. But like, if you play an aggressive deck or any type of deck that's semi-aggressive, Piccolo's not going to be able to do anything. Maybe in a green versus green, Piccolo might be able to do some stuff, but unless it's androids. If it's androids versus Piccolo, androids smokes. So Piccolo, I still think, I can't justify moving him out of needs help. And then Daima Vegeta is still probably the worst leader in the game. Now, funny enough, I did play against this leader in a match on the online client, and surprisingly, I will say surprisingly, the deck put up a decent fight. But a lot of my cards are lower cost, so it was easier for him to adjust their cost to a point where he was then able to remove them. But I think the deck relied just on the good general blue stuff rather than its own ability and its, you know, leader skill. So I think he still he deserves to still be in needs help and is the worst leader in the game. Tie with Piccolo. So here we go. I think these are the new categories where everything kind of fits into place here. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I'm happy with the placing of each card in each category, though. I think Bardock probably... I'd probably put Bardock below Trunks. U7... sorry, UI Goku is... He's good. It's just, part of me kind of wants to put him in like the rogue category. But he has access to just good U7 and red stuff. So, okay. This could be a while, but I'm not going to go into like making sure each deck is in its own particular category. So basically, if they're in this row, it's just no generic or it's no specific order. It's just generic. I'm not saying Androids is the best deck in the format, even though it really is one of the best decks. But I'd say these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 leaders are your best leaders and your best chances of getting into the top, of winning your event. These 6 leaders here are very, very good choices to bring. These 7 other leaders here are just good, decent rogue choices depending on your matchup. Locals decks, keep them at locals, and then needs help. But yeah. That'll do it for this video, guys. I like this. I really do. I know there's going to be some people that are saying, like, are you crazy? Why are certain decks so low? Why are certain decks so high? Cody's probably going to message me about this. And, yeah, shout out to Corrosive Bullet, because I just watched his video, and I'm like, man, I kind of want... it's been a while. I probably should re-update my tier list. But, yeah, I'm happy with this. I think right now the meta is in the best it's ever been, in my opinion. I'm hoping set 5 is going to continue that trend, we will have to see once we get the full reveals of the leader abilities and what they do. And yeah, I think that'll be it, guys. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And let me know your thoughts and opinions about this meta and this list down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.